So namaste and welcome to today's HR Satsang. My name is Ram Akella. I'm the founder and director of NRich HR Academy, and we started this organization in 2016. So what is this HR Satsang is? HR Satsang is a reflective space where we can pause and go deeper into our profession beyond the tools and templates, right, into the purpose of what we are doing as a HR leaders. So that is where we are calling this HR Satsang as a reflective space, not just only some sharing or something, but knowledge sharing is one aspect of it, but going deeper into the HR related topics, understanding the trends, what are the best practices. So this is what we are took an initiative to be part of our HR community by and large. So today's topic brings us to one of the most powerful decisions that HR makes is who we are bringing into the organization. Are we bringing the hiring about the skills or speed or closures or a salary fitment or something? But are we thinking that this person is aligned to our values? Or are they contributing to our culture? How it is going to be? Or they are going to consume it? The culture part of it. Will that become a bad apple to the culture actually? So that's what we need to think about it. That is the area or the focus light that we would like to throw today. And our topic is also talent acquisition with soul. Hiring for values, not just skills. Of course, skills are important. But hiring for values is a very, very important to have a longer journey with the organizations. So in this session, what we'll explore is how conscious hiring that becomes a foundation for building the better teams, because we are building with an intent to build the better teams, stronger leadership pipelines, and more resilient cultures that we would like to bring it in. So what is our contribution towards the culture? So it's not just a recruitment is not just a transaction, but it is a cultural commitment, how we are taking it. So this is to guide through the powerful conversations. We are honored to welcome someone who is lived and led the talent acquisition space with the deeper insight and passion, Mr. David Netto. Welcome, Mr. David Netto. And David is a senior talent acquisition leader, TA leader with rich experience and across leadership hiring, employer branding, and shaping the hiring strategies for the diverse businesses across India and APAC region, Asia Pacific region. And he brings not just the expertise, but is also having a lot of clarity and truly that matters what is for the hiring of the right people. That's what he's going to share with us. And let us now welcome Mr. David Netto. And we begin this satsang with an insight and reflection and shared commitment of hiring with heart. Right? So in this, we welcome Mr. David Netto. And before we are handing over mic to you, some suggestions for our participants today is, to the extent, please open your videos, whatever is possible. Be comfortable, but open your videos.
Yeah, please feel free.
Feel free and try to reflect. So the next 30-35 minutes, David is going to give us the insights about with his experience and everything. And after that, we are going to talk about the responses and reflection session is there. Please write down your questions or you can type it in the chat box. Whatever that comes to you, please respond back. Whatever the point that you liked also, you please mention that. Right? We always welcome for your voice and for your video. At least the text is also there for your convenience to post it. So my team will, coordinate those things. They'll track the entire questions or whatever are there, and they will help us in terms of, raising your voices also. Please be comfortable, and takeaway should be very much effective for us. And over to you, Mr. David. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. Hi everyone. Very good evening, and thank you so much, Ram and Lavanya. Hope I'm audible. So thanks to everybody for this opportunity and whoever's in this event. Okay, and thank you so much for the participants who took some time. I know definitely it is a working day, And thank you so much, and hope you would really get some good takeaways from this session, because I always believe if I am learning, even everybody's learning in this chapter, right? So it is always a two-way commitment that we learn and grow together, because I always believe HR is an ocean of opportunities and experiences, actually, and it is still evolving as the technology grows day by day. And it's a good topic, actually, from Ram, and a few good what to say pointers, actually, for today's topic. Maybe Ram, if you like want to highlight the topic, it would be really great.
Yeah. You want me to highlight the topic?
Maybe, yeah, so we can go with each and every questions. You can be the best moderator, and then I can start off. So
Definitely,
for
definitely,
each and
David.
every
Thank you.
question, yeah.
I would love that.
Yeah, yeah,
Thank you
yeah.
so much. So today's topic is very much, very much connected to us, and you will all enjoy that. And a lot of takeaways are there. Talent acquisition with soul, hiring for values, not just skills. So, how conscious hiring shapes the better teams, leaders, and the long term culture. This is what we are focusing. So, as a recruiters, as a talent acquisition specialist, as a HR, by and large, so we are helping the organizations to get the people filling the vacancies, the numbers within time, within cost. So, these are all the KPIs for the talent acquisition people. Now, today we need to, there is a time that we need to look into having powerful teams within the organizations, or the cultures are very important for us. So that is where the long-term success or the business growth is, it is already there. So it starts all, I mean, always with the talent acquisition specialists now, or recruiters, whomever we call. So those people's responsibility is to hire for the culture, hire for the values, hire for the whatever the beliefs or the practices that we are having. Is this person is a right fitment for us or not? Anyway, he is going to fill the vacancy. Anyway, he is going to take up the job. He is going to take the offer, and our position will get closed. It should not stop there. We need to pass, look into that particular person, whether his fitment is towards us, within fits into our culture or not. So cultural fitment, we'll call it as, right, the suitability criteria, whatever that we take. Cultural fitment is very important. Now let us see from David's experience being a leader and multi-country. I mean, different regions that he's filling the vacancies, or with heart that he is as a talent acquisition he is filling the vacancies, and the cultural fitments also he is looking into that. So what is his experience, and what are all the different kinds of things, and what are the insights he is going to make us to look into? So respond if he poses any kind of questions and all, and let us see. We will make it more interactive, right, David? Thank you
Sure,
so
sure, sure.
much. Please
Sure,
speak.
sure. Thanks, Ram. So, in short, I come up with almost 10 years of experience into talent acquisition, and I lead the efforts for the technical hiring, and it's end-to-end recruitment. Post that, I do the employer branding for India and APAC for ADP. Post that, I'm a public speaker, and I've spoken almost in 73 colleges all over India, and spanning around 2 years, what I've done, and empowering almost 22,000 plus students all over India. So this is my background into talent acquisition. And quickly coming to the question what Ram had, right? Hiring for values than skills. It's a very, maybe it's a common topic, but it is a very essential topic in the hiring space. So hiring for value is always essential for each and every recruiter, because when you take into a company, right, it talks about the company's value on each and every associate we recruit, right? And when it comes to hiring, it is very conscious hiring. It should not be biased. So these are the two categories which I always look in for. And why do we hire for values? Why? Because it is a commitment, right? What an associate comes to a company and what he delivers. So it depends on the commitment of each and every associate. And that's how we value an associate at some point of time. As you see, the generation of skill set, the generation of people is changing as the technology evolves, as the job market goes higher and higher. Definitely, we would always see for a better culture fit. And if I'm going to concentrate only on skills and not the culture fit, right, we may lose a seasoned professional or a seasoned employee. For example, if I am taking a candidate who is like stable in a company for almost like 5+ years, say, and if I'm taking a candidate who's just 5 years or 8 years of experience with 2 to 3 jumps, there, if I see, there is also a candidate with good skill set, but there is also a candidate who has learned and groomed in every skill set during his tenure of 8 years, but he definitely values the culture and he definitely values the company. So there's a lot of difference between that gap between cultural fitment and also skill fitment. So what I would choose is I would always see on all these parameters whether he is really skilled and does he fit to our culture. Because in today's world, right, there are a lot of companies who still follow a legacy culture than an open culture. It depends on startups, it depends on various MNCs. We would know, right, how the hiring spree in our company takes place, and definitely we know the core values of our company. And when we speak to the candidate, we would really know the pulse, whether this is going to be the right hire for the company or this is going to be a burnout actually from a candidate perspective. So these are few parameters which I would really look into. And I'm sure everybody will always have a good sense of judgment, because I'm sure a recruiter is the best person to really judge a candidate in various ways, actually, because he is going to create a career not only for the company, but for himself as the best recruiter also. Yeah, Ram.
Yes, yes, that's really great, David. So, any specific case, how do you look into the culture fitment? Because most of our talent acquisition people knows about the skills fitment because it is a clearly spelled out.
Yeah,
But whereas when it comes to the cultural fitment, people still have some kind of ambiguity, non-clarity. There is no clear idea about it. So,
yeah.
what is this culture fitment? How do we understand that? And what are the parameters that we need to look into? Whether he fits, how do I decide about that? Whether he fits into our culture or not? How do you do? That's David's way, how it would be. Can you please explain
Sure,
to
sure.
us?
So I'll put it in the industry perspective. See, we
Yeah,
have different types of industries, right? We
right.
have health industry, we have manufacturing, we have product companies, we have service-based companies, and we have the ITES sectors. So on all these sectors, you will always find good candidates. Now, for example, I'm working for a product company, right? So I am going to hire from a product company, but if I really want to change the perspective, if I want to take somebody from a service based company, so the service based company has a very different culture, right, compared to a product based company. If I'm going to take somebody from the healthcare, it really differs from a healthcare to a product company. If I'm going to take somebody from the gaming industry, his perspective would be different, because when you take a person from different diverse industries, he may have a different perspective to join the company. For example, when I say culture fit, right, the person who's coming from a different industry will always look for potential flexibility, what is the growth he has in this role, and whether he will fit or not. Because the service based culture is totally different from a product based culture. I'm not what to say blaming the service based culture, but you would always know a difference, right, when you come in from a legacy culture to an open ended culture. And today, if you see startups, right, they are so vibrant. There's a lot of diverse culture even in a startup. But when we bring them to a company which has maybe a legacy culture, it would really be hard in order for him to adapt to us. It doesn't mean that we are following something very tough or stringent. Our culture has been bound like that with few core values actually. And when you say culture, right, culture values, what we give it as a job commitment. The job safety is one of the cultural value which we have. And these are some of the points which I would like to elaborate.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful.
Yeah.
Nice. So, what kind of language that these people will use? How do you identify, pinpoint that, he's talking about the culture of the organization, or any specific questions that you will put across to understand that, okay, so by using these kind of words, yeah, I can understand that this person is talking about making sense from his culture perspective.
Yeah.
So, can you say something about that during your interviews or something?
Sure. See, generally, when we talk to a candidate, right, we'll always have a deep dive, detailed discussion about his, like what to say, his future aspirations and something. And language is a very common thing. I'm sure everybody is going to talk in English, but if he has multiple languages, it's always good. But for a techie person, he would talk in a technical language actually, which the recruiters will sometimes will not know. But what I would say, skills can anytime or any day be trained. But what I would look at a good attitude from a person, the urge for learning and adapting to skills, and a go-getter attitude will always be the best actually in terms of technology and in terms of adapting to the skills and in adapting to the culture. And I'm sure today everybody wants to be skilled and everybody wants to be star in their own kind of roles actually. And when gauging a person, right, we should not only see about the skills, and it's about, apart from the skills, what the candidate brings to the table. A person would really like to team lead, a person may be a good communicator, a person may be a subject matter expert. So these are the things, when you talk to the candidate you get additional information, and not many points are there in the resume, right? When you look at a resume, generally a candidate will always put the skill set and the roles or the responsibilities what they have in their current company. But when you deep dive to a candidate, when you make him comfortable, when you ask him in depth, that's where he brings out the best in him. And I would always advise the junior recruiters or to the other peers is to spend as much as time to a candidate to understand his full potential. He may be a right hire. And as I said, right, skills can always be trained, because I always believe one company's product is always different from another company. So one set of skills will always differ. But when you give him an open opportunity to learn, that would really interest him towards joining a company. Yeah.
Fantastic. So whenever I would like to share something here.
Yeah.
Whenever we used to hire the people, so we used to make the calls for the people while the screening or shortlisting, or whenever we are inviting them for the interviews and all, we used to take a little portion of the time during that call while assessing itself. We used to tell about our organization values. What is that culture in a sense that common beliefs and common practices of the culture. So what is that we believe? What is that we practice? Whether it is a service industry or a production or manufacturing or any other industry, it could be any other domain. So the people who are there, actually, we used to tell them that the other person need to understand about the organization and wants to know something about it. What are the goals? Where the organization would like to go? So far, what it achieved so far, and what is the what is that we are expecting from the people to be into the organization, and our successful people what they are believing in it. So these things that we would like to, we made it as a small portion of information that we would like to offload to the job seekers or the people who are prospects actually. Whether they get selected or not, it's a different matter. Induction, we will take it and we will do it on a much larger scale, but this is a very small thing that we would like to make them to understand what this organization is. Now, we are advising, our recruiters are advising when they are coming for the interview center, please reflect on these things. So what are the values that we said? So we believed in that, shorter communications, agile communications, or stand-up meetings, right? So giving the updates on a regular basis, speaking to the people with a lot of respect with the other people. This is what we believe. And we also believe that all the people are equal within the organization. So don't hesitate to go for that. Open door policy. So whatever things are there. So we have a mentor-mentee kind of a model so that to build such kind of a structure to have an open communication. So all these things we used to tell it to them so that they would like to, we ask them to reflect back on those areas. What is that they have believed in the previous organizations or the current organization where they are working? What are the values that they are following? So we usually ask them, compelling them to ask for the cultural fitment related aspects we used to talk about it. So people, I mean, equal employment opportunity. There is a respect for the people, and there is a on-time salary, valuing the people's, recognizing and rewarding the efforts or performances, and learning aspects. As you rightly said, the other values, whatever that companies are following, not just guessing or we are trying to get those things, but we used to confront with them and we used to tell that, oh, this is what you are, what we are having, so that the other person, employer branding also will happen with them. So we used to put it across to and ask them about reflecting on their, what is that you are expecting, what is that is comfortable for you, how you have learned, what is that you have learned in your experience part. So these kind of questions related to the cultural fitment we used to ask, and we are getting the answers from them, and we used to get that. Acha, by the way, I just want to ask you, this is what is my sharing. I just want to ask you one more question. Is there any objectified, the way that we can measure these cultural fitment related aspects? How do you think? Or is it only a subjective based or interviewers attitude or mindset itself?
Okay, it's a good question because see, when the interviewers ask the candidates, for example, if a recruiter is going to ask a candidate,
David, 1 second before we moving forward. Lavanya, our quiz questions are there, no, with options and all. Can you please post in the chat box so that our participants can answer those things?
okay,
Right, sir. Sir,
good.
please go ahead.
No problem. Yeah. So, as you said, right, when we talk about the cultural values and setting the expectations about the company, as you said, right, the open door policy and a lot of things. So, as a recruiter or as an interviewer to each and every candidate, right, it is always our benchmark to set the expectations on the first call when we speak to the candidate, actually. So, when we speak to the candidate, it's like not only selling the profile of the company, but knowing what kind of a company is he really going to choose and what he's really going to grow.
Correct.
So I'll tell you where it is a win-win situation for the employee and the employer. So when talking to the candidate, when he sets the expectation before he enters the screening or the level one interview, right? The candidate will have a clear view on what kind of a role he's going to evolve, what is the company all about, what is the mission and vision of the company, and why this role is important, and why did I pick up his resume, right? All these are the main points which I would look in a candidate, and the information what I am going to provide him will always be registered in his mind. And if the candidate is really successful through all the interviews, we definitely have some engagements till he joins the company. That is the post offer engagements through emails, connecting through LinkedIn, and how much we can connect to a candidate. That's going to be a win win situation for the company and as well as the recruiter. And
Wonderful.
this will always bring in a lot of referrals. It depends like how you handle the candidate, whether he joins or not, that is a different question. But setting the expectations, having that benchmarks of all your filtered boxes with good questions and understanding the candidate, he will spread that news by saying, hey, this is the company I need to join, this is the way they interviewed me, and I really like the company's gesture, and I'm sure that this company follows a very good culture even before my joining. So this will always help in referral programs. And definitely in a corporate, referral programs pay, like what I say, it plays a major role
Major,
and a
major.
percentage in the hiring. And this can drive in diversity, this can drive in a lot of values for the company. and it will always be remembered actually. And this is a good successful ratio when you set the expectations on your screening call, and it will make him engaged actually. And another best thing of what we do is once the person is offered, we do bring him to the office to have a word with his team, to have a in-person visit office, so that he'll understand how our culture is, who's the team members, who's he going to work with before his joining.
Absolutely.
And this will really have a good collaboration, and it would really be enriched for the candidate and also for the company's members.
I definitely resonate with two intakes are there or takeaways from this particular question that you are sharing is there. One is that, the precursor calls that we are making and while screening the people itself, telling about our culture and making them know about it and engaging from that particular moment onwards is one of the best practices that every talent acquisition specialist need to adapt it. And another thing is inviting them. This is a very powerful distinction. People needs to they need to be invited for a coffee or interaction or something to your office and showcasing the office where they are going to work, whether they work or not, whether they get select or not, but at least they can see the office, feel the
Yeah.
office, the
Yep.
ambience, people, the cubicles, the real mahol, the entire aspect of the organization can be seen. That can make them to encourage actually. I mean, it's their call whether to join with the organization if they get selected or not. That's completely their choice of it at the end of the day. No doubt about it. But at least these two practices will give an excellent mileage in terms of hiring the right kind of people. And one more challenge I just want to ask you, but it got answered.
Okay.
I mean, during this, we got hiring managers or business heads who are in a hurry or in a speed to hire the skills very fast. Will it surpass the values? That's what would be my next question that I thought I wish to ask you. But you
Okay.
already answered with that, by getting connected, recruiters getting connected with the people and then making them to come well prepared and engaging them, that solves the speed will be there as well as they'll be connected with the values whether they are connecting it or not. So we
Sure.
need not delay because we are looking at the cultural fitment. So that
Exactly.
is what is the answer that I got. I just want to share with our friends.
Sure.
That's
Maybe I'll give
really
you a last like takeaway for it. I would always advise like hire for quality and not for quantity. Even if we spend more time on quality, right, that will really be a successful hire, I would say. And that particular person who has that quality, definitely he would do a multitask job also. And we would,
definitely.
at the end of the day, say, hey, this is the best hire what we have done, and we are proud of it.
Right. So we got some answers, David. We asked one question. This question is, what do you prioritize most when hiring? This is the question that we asked. Skills, experience, value fit, and cultural adaptability. Answer with your options, and it's, I mean, the reason and other things also they can say about it. But our people have given answers like, cultural adaptability given by Repal Hamant, wonderful. Geeta has given B and C, that is experience and value fitment. That is what
Yeah.
Geeta said. And Ankireddy Vijayata, she said cultural adaptability. Then Haripriya, A and D. One is the skills and the cultural adaptability. And Maunika said all. And Kumar said A and D. Again, uh, the skills and the cultural adaptability that they have given. And Komal given D and C. Third comes A. A would third comes A. Sorry, I would prioritize in this sequence. So D, C, and A. So D is cultural adaptability. C is value fitment, and A is skills. That's what Kumar. Sorry, this is Komal mentioned about. Sulochana, all options that she has taken. Lavanya, yes, Lavanya has taken A and D. That is again skills and the cultural adaptability that she has taken. Just a second. The next one is, yeah. So all, I mean, answers are very good, and thank you all for giving wonderful things. Madhuri, Ashok Kumar, and all these people have given skills and the adaptability part of it. And Shiv Kumar has given skills and then value fitment. Then finally choose only on the basis of CND. That is CND is value fitment and cultural level. So people are resonating with our things. Prasad Swami also responded that primarily what the candidate brings onto the table should matter the most. Of course, Prasad Swami, but options are there. So that's where we are asking about the options. Thank you very much for your response, Prasad Swami. Thank you all. Wonderful responses that you have given. Wait for another question, another quiz question also going to come to you very soon. So, when it comes to, are we really, while taking the people in itself is not enough, David G. So, what I would think is people, once they have coming to that, when they are, working for a good amount of time, I mean, at least in the brief period of initial period that they are getting into it. I know many people have come for an induction for a half a day or something, after that they left. I mean,
Okay.
for lunch they went and they went off completely. So they never back to that again back to
Office.
their offices and all. So that is one of the very awkward situation that we got actually. So that's where we have made a lot of changes in the AV presentations, knowing about the organization, telling about the organizations and everything. That's really fantastic thing that we have done. It's a great lesson for us. So how do we adapt the cultural aspects in the initial days? Of course, hiring will happen, obviously, no doubt about it. So, what do you think, with your opinion? Maybe it might not be your area, might not be your area, but after your talent acquisition completes, probably the next team that is going to take care of it, maybe the business heads or the group heads or team heads, what they are taking care of it. So what do you think, in your opinion, how do they need to sustain this particular thing for the initial period of time? Because that is very vulnerable period for the organization. Even people might respond, might not respond. People may continue, might not continue, or may disconnect, right? So all these things are there. So what is your opinion about these stakeholders?
Sure. I do understand the question. Like some come for the induction and they leave by the day, right? So it rarely happens actually, but it still happens. But it depends on their own perspective, what runs into their mind, or what is the experience they've got, or what is the information they have actually. See, some go with the past information, right? Some connect with the various people to understand about the company. But when you are inducted and you join the company within the first week, right? So we, as strategic talent partners, what we do is when we have the induction, definitely they would have the learning and development team taking over like the first initial stages to brief them on what is the LMS system, that is the learning management system. And then we have the IT people covering sessions towards the IT, that depends on the data security and everything, to keep them engaged. So engagement sessions are more important, especially in the first month actually. And when we see a candidate, definitely 30, 60, 90, and 120 days period of window, we will always gauge the candidate through various surveys also. When the newcomers come in, right, a survey is very, very important to see whether how are they faring into the
Very good.
company. Yeah,
That's
because in
really
yeah,
yeah. Please go.
so you will not know it within a week or two. Definitely, it may take 15 days, it may take 30 days. It depends how are they shaping up within the team, right? So the first week will always be the best induction week in terms of all the departments in HR. You can have your recruiter speak to them, you can have your HR BPs, you can have people from the learning and management team, the L&D team, and so ever. And then we put them to the actual team members for them to take over from there. And as I said, right, surveys play a very, very important role in the newcomers when they come into the company, because they may bring ideas, they may bring suggestions, but even if it's not going to implement it at once, right? If we can't implement at once, at least we should hear from them. we should take that into consideration as a point for the future, if we can really implement this or not. And feedback loops are very, very important. Let it be from the associate to the management, or to what to say, the managers actually, who's leading their own teams. So feedback loops are very, very important, and that brings a lot of transparency, and that brings a lot of good communication and a good rapport between the team and the associates. So these are all very, very key factors that shape in with better harmony.
Wonderful. That's really nice. I like the idea of the pulse surveys. The first week is the most important week, and feedback loops that we need to take care of things and all the HR teams of different functionalities can interact with them and needs to understand, especially knowing about the what is the takeaway from your answer from this is the thing is people needs to take that the experience, how the experience of the newcomer within our organization, that needs to be known thoroughly, and we need to take care of them, understand their experiences, where it is going on. So that gives us a greater insights for us to how we are adapting them or inducting them into the organization. That's a really matters. Actually, your sessions are really practical, and thank you very much. And one of our participants, Mr. Kumar K. Kumar, is having a question that how do you handle internal conflicts between hiring managers and recruiters? Kumar, I just want to give this question. I mean, definitely, I would like to take up this during the question, reflections, and responses time. Okay, so let us continue with our discussion first, and then we'll go further. What do you suggest? Right? Okay, so on top of that, Geeta also responded on that, and definitely we are going to discuss on this during our responses session. Right, Kumar, is it okay? Can you unmute and say? I think I need to give you the permission, I believe. Yes,
Yeah, he
Kumar.
has replied okay. Yeah.
Yeah, he replied, okay, right. Thank you, Kumar. Thank you very much. Right, great. So my next aspect is, 1 second. Ah, Next challenge is hybrid and remote environments. How do recruiters evaluate how do they know about the cultural fitment part of it, and how do they assess on that particular suitability? What is your
Okay.
suggestion?
The hybrid and the remote, is it?
Yes, yes.
Okay. I'm sure only few companies are working in remote, and I guess the culture has been changing now from 3 days to 5 days work week, and we still see a kind of bit of reluctantness to come back to work for 5 days, because many want still the hybrid way, and some people prefer remote. And what I would always see, even hybrid is really good, but if you have a 5 day working week, I guess why people choose hybrid, because they can be little more productive at home for those 2 days, and try to like say re-energize on the work what they do. So this is what I have heard as feedbacks. And people who are into the remote culture, right, they would really not have the look and feel of the office. They would miss a lot of celebrations. They would miss a lot of what to say, associate feedbacks, which they really want to hear and feel. So and they're missing the culture, right? Suppose if you're going to
Yeah.
work in a remote setup, what do you know when there's a really good culture at your office and you're really missing it when you're at home,
Mm.
right? And some people prefer at least 10 days in a month actually to go to office. So these are the few examples which I've heard in different diverse companies and their own cultures. And people, the success rate, if you look at, I guess hybrid model was more successful, I would say, which I have heard from different leaders. And some follow a 5 day work week, so it depends.
Very nice, very nice. So, Lavanya, can you please help us with another poll question, quiz question? Definitely, we are going to discuss about the questions, whatever that are coming in the chat box. Definitely, we will come back to you on this. So, more towards, is there any, do you think, is there any psychometric assessments that you are conducting? Are there any such kind of practices that are there actually to take the psychometric assessments during the interviews or any part of it to know the cultural fit? Do you think?
Definitely. See, a psychometric test will always evaluate on based on scenario-based questions. Okay, and sometimes it may have a behavioral feel towards the questions what we have for the candidates. But my only question was, through my experience, I'm saying, what if he passes the psychometric test and if he scores say 100%, but what if he is a bad hire in the upcoming months? You would not know, right? So I would always, I would not deny, I would say, maybe it would help to a certain extent on how is he thinking through the psychometric test, right? On what answers is he choosing. But as I said, right, attitude plays a very vital role. It can make up and break a person.
Absolutely. I have
Yeah,
something to say on this particular thing.
yeah,
Even I don't strongly believe that psychometric assessments are so great
yeah,
decision. It's not so, not like data analytics or fact sheets or something else.
yeah,
This psychometric analysis is very subjective, as I rightly said, contextual,
yeah,
and people might score 100%, but they are not. I mean, later point of time, they comes out as a bad hire or something. So that's
yeah.
quite possible. So I don't. I mean, this becomes a very bold statement. Person like me is stating that psychometric analysis is waste or something. I don't say that. But psychometric assessments are to be used only very purposefully and very wherever the right juncture it is that it needs to be used. But I do feel that cultural to understand the cultural fitment part of it, psychometric analysis is not going to help us much
Sure.
more that way. Rather, directly speaking to the candidate and understanding their approach or their value systems and all, we can talk about it.
I'll give you a small example, Ram, like why these tests differ from the in-person interviews. Okay. So there was a candidate. Okay. I'll give you a small scenario. So this candidate has completed 2 levels of interviews online. Okay. And what we did, the last interview would always be a managerial round and also an in-person visit to see the HR also. Ram, are you there?
Yeah, please continue. It seems he has got a disconnected scene. I will.
Okay. Okay. So
No, no, it's a technical. No, it's
Ah,
a,
yeah. Sure. No problem.
it
So
got pressed.
no worries. So a candidate has completed 2 online levels of interview, and I'm inviting him for the third level for the managerial discussion. Okay. So the candidate is invited for an in-person visit. I made him to sit in a room. Okay. And I said, the manager's on his way. So it has rained actually, and there's a little bit of traffic. So he should be here in 20 to 30 minutes. Okay. So this is not a scenario. This is a live example which happened. So the candidate has cleared 2 rounds of interview. Now he's going to come and meet the manager. And when he meets the manager, he's only going to have a techno-functional role, a little bit on the tech skills and the interview experience, which he has cleared 2 rounds of interview, and just basic questions. So this is his last final round to get an offer. Okay. I'll tell you how it plays between attitude, skills, and the psychometric assessments. Okay. So in that 30 minutes of waiting time, right, we should always engage with that candidate. So what I did was I brought 2 people from the team who already interviewed him for the 2 levels. Okay. And I just told the candidate, I said, these 2 people you've already seen online. Okay. And they are going to just keep you engaged for at least 20 to 25 minutes so that you would not feel alone, actually, because we don't want any candidate to just be feeling alone and for waiting for 30 minutes. I said the manager is going to be back. And trust me, the panels came back to me and said, the candidate started getting restless. He says, why I should wait, why I should see the same persons and talk. So if I'm going to hire this person, definitely in the absence of someone, if I'm going to give him a work to be done, right, he will be reluctant, he will not do the work, right? So he is, either he makes an offer or breaks the offer. So even if he's 100% skilled, right, but if it's an attitude, like, it's going to be like a flat tire, it will not move anywhere.
Fantastic. Fantastic. So our question is also the same from the quizzes. Have you ever regretted hiring someone who had the right skills but wrong attitude or values?
I
So
guess that's
we
the answer.
so people have given the yes is 70% and no is 10% and not sure is 20%. There's no
Yeah.
question of not sure. People who responded, please be sure about yes or no. Actually, third option might not be there, but actually it is yes or no kind of a question and all. It is always you have to regret for the people for the values. Even I had an experience when I worked with the organizations. So we have recruited, we had a bad hires and people. How do you identify them as? Because people will come up with that, I'm doing the work, but I don't want to value the culture. I don't want to participate. I don't want to be the participative of the organizations. And I don't have to be because I'm into sales. I'm bringing sales. I'm doing the, bringing the business to the company, but I don't want to obey you know, leave policy or whatever it is. I do whatever time that I learn. I'm getting the business for you, right? So, but in an organization under one roof, there are certain things that needs to happen with a decorum, with a system, with a structure, with a process. If people are not able to follow and they are not getting into it, they are not culturally fit. We are talking about the postmortem or we are talking about the later part. But how do we get to know in the beginning itself is the kind of verbose that people will use about it. So we can ask the similar kind of why we are asking these poll questions. We are asking these poll questions can be little converted and we can ask the candidates also, what do you think about this? And the people answer about it. As you rightly said, your managers around the 30 minutes, whatever the round that you are trying to identify those things. And all that's it. Earlier, we used to have a lot of round robin. Even in IAS, also people will ask about the rapid fire questions and round robin kind of things and all. People, especially talking about the personality related kind of questions and all these things will obviously into the these things. Always try to have open-ended questions for that, not just like yes or no kind of things. People will say comfortably yes or no, but there is no right kind of answer for that. So try to ask such kind of questions, my dear HR people. So that's what you can do to come out of that. And thank you, David, for giving that. And something, will you identify the major red flags in a candidate? Yes, we'll come back to you, Prasad, on this question also. Mr. Kumar's as well as your questions also will be answered in a little while. Okay. So, yeah. Yeah, this is also whenever there is a limited resources that we are hiring, probably you might come across, or maybe your opinion, David, we require this on this, that suppose startups and these micro, small and medium enterprises, they are hiring at a very little and very specific roles that they are making it out. So how do we identify um, a value-based hiring? How do we do that with that limited resources kind of thing? What would be the way? What is that they can follow while recruiting?
Okay, you mean to say why are they limiting their resources
How
of recruitment, or
No,
like
no, no.
how?
How they need to recruit a value-based hiring they can do because they are, I mean, they are not a well set up or too many people or learned fellows. Actually, they are taking the interviews and all. That setup is not there with them. They just started the business or they're just sustaining about the business right now. They're not in the growth path at that basically. So how do the such kind of organizations? How do they need to do the recruitment? What could be the solutions that we can give it to them? Because this is a question that people have asked me.
Okay.
Ram,
Good,
how
good.
do we do the recruitment? Value-based hiring, not just only for skills, it is for the values.
Okay.
Yes, please.
So I would say startups, right? It's a very different ball game, I would say, in terms of hiring. Even I've gone through startups. I've worked in startups, uh, new age startups, I would say, with different technologies. Okay, and a startup culture is always an R&D. I would call it's always research and development. And when you say how the value-based hiring comes, right? Because when you take an MNC, right, everything is being simplified. There are policies, there are procedures, and it is predefined in an MNC, right? Because it's a large scale. They have a lot of experienced people in that and driving in different departments, right? But when it comes to a startup, right, you don't have something very well organized, right? It's all about the learnings and experience where they face time to time and the challenges and the problems which they grapple, right? That's the time they would always seek for a solution and drive it to a solution. Now, when you say how can you change it to value based hiring, it depends on the product of the company in a startup, whether it's a product or a service. Next, what value do you bring to an employee who joins your company? And today, Ram, I always like look upon it's not only the opportunity what you get, it's the value what that opportunity is going to give you in the next 3 to 5 years, right? Even stability is important, right? Let it be a small new age startup or an MNC. But in today's startups, after COVID, right, they have redefined their hiring in a different and a vibrant way. They are adding more values actually to the people, and they are giving them more benefits in learning, right? For example, like online certifications and different, what I say, perks and benefits, and they're adding more value apart from the opportunity. So this is what I've learned in startups. And as you said, right, what is the value based hiring in startups? As I said, it's an R&D. You learn from the scratch actually. And even if you're going to take, for example, the Java development, right, the code will be from the scratch. It will not be a semi a built code. So the associates will learn everything end to end. But if you see in a service based company, the code is already semi stacked. You just have to do the enhancements, and the team lead will say, just do this and that, and it would be completed. But when you come into a hardcore startup, right, that's the challenge and that's the opportunity for every associate to learn. And that is
Absolutely.
always the best value based hiring.
That's really wonderful. That's really wonderful. We'll take the questions and we'll try to end the session within 5 to 6 minutes. Thank you so much, David, in this. And the question what we got is, what strategies do you use to reduce candidate drop off during recruitment? That is what Mr. Kumar has asked.
Okay.
So,
So,
what
so
are the
that's it.
strategies?
What are the strategies in order not to have a dropout, right? Okay, good. I'll answer this question. It's one of my
Family.
ongoing strategies and ongoing situations what
Super.
everybody faces. It depends the engagements which you have to the candidate, right? As I
Right.
said, no, once the offer is released, it depends the engagements via phone, via text, and you can't be bugging the candidate also, right? At one point of time, but at least once in 2 weeks, checking on the candidate is always good. I'll give you a classic example, Ram, and to others. Okay, so there was a hiring spree which we had for the last month, right? And you know what happened, as we had a war, we had a typical war, right, between Pakistan and India. So there was a candidate in the north, okay, who's going to be hired in Chennai, right? So what happened? We did call the candidate and asked him, are you safe? Are you okay? How's your family? Though he's not affected, right?
Fantastic.
So this really
Fantastic.
brought more engaged to the candidate and more engagement to the candidate. And this really surprised him. Why does a recruiter down south has to be bothered when he has already given the offer? See, it's not about giving the offer to the candidate. It's about the engagement what we have. Because we are brand ambassadors. He's going to be the brand ambassador of the company when he joins the company. So that's where the culture speaks. And definitely this will not bring a dropout. And this is one example. I'll give you another classic example. During our COVID days, right? It's not only asking the candidate how is his health, but it's about asking how is his family faring? Is everything good at your place? Do you need any support? Is there anything that we can do to help you understand, right?
Which is AI cannot do what a human can do with a
Definitely,
human touch. That's
definitely.
obvious, actually.
Whatever AI, even the AI is being created by a human intelligence, right? Yeah. I seen Lavanya
Great.
clapping. Thank you so much.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful. Really nice to get those things. I think Kumar, you got the this thing right. Another question Mr. Kumar has asked about how do you handle the internal conflicts between the hiring managers and the
Yeah.
recruiters actually. So
That's a long
probably
pending question. I already seen that and gave a thumbs up. Thanks, Kumar, for asking this. So the conflicts, I don't call it as a conflict between the hiring managers and the recruiters. That is an ongoing companionship which you have between you and your hiring managers, because the hiring managers will always want the candidates fast. They want a good pipeline, and they want to see how soon can a candidate join. I would not see it as a conflict. I would always say it's better to sit down with your hiring manager and to get out the best out of him to have a good hiring process. Because, as I said, right, you would not know what your hiring manager thinks. His thinking may be different in a technical aspect, but your thinking would be different on a recruitment aspect. But I would say is sit down with the hiring manager and talk to him, ask him, what do you need actually? For example, I'll tell you, Kumar, since I'm saying Kumar on the screen actually. So when I get a requirement, right, I always have the MOM, that is the minutes of meeting. Sit with the hiring manager, ask him what is his need, what is his requirement, what all you can ask from the candidate. And you could always give him time to time feedback when you're hiring for a particular role. And I think so that will at least reduce the conflict. But hiring managers are always hot, like always the business requirements, right? And they are going to be our customers. We can never have a conflict, right? At the end of the day, they will speak on behalf of you and they will say, he's my recruiter, he's the man, right? And they are going to be the ones who's going to give you feedback. And the best part is if we have a conflict the next day on a Monday meeting, we have to see their face, right? So it's corporate life, or let it be any startup or any company out of that sort. And I don't think so it's a conflict. I'll always call it a good companionship, actually, to understand in both ways, right? He's not going to be our enemy. Maybe he would have some kind of pressure. We also have pressure, but at the end of the day, we need to find a solution, right? We need to get a candidate, and hiring should go on. It should not stop at any point, right? And this is very common and this only makes us as the best recruiter, strategic talent acquisition partners, right?
right.
Yeah.
That's really
Thank you.
great. I would like to ask Mr. Kumar to respond with his questions were answered. How do you see these interactions are really helping, or what is your opinion? Can you please unmute yourself and give your little feedback about the satsang and this kind of a discussion with, from David said.
Not able to hear you, Kumar. Yeah.
1 second. Sure. No, we are not able to hear you.
Yeah, your mic is not working, it seems.
Can you unmute? Can you give him a chance, actually, Lavanya?
Yeah, just let him get it corrected. Meanwhile, you please continue.
All right. So meanwhile, there are two questions are there. Those two questions we will take it forward. Prasad is asking about, in your opinion, how will you identify major red flags in a candidate?
Okay. How would you come
How would
again?
you identify? How would you identify major red flags in a candidate? Red flags.
Okay. Major red flags in a candidate. For example, when I look at his resume, right, what is the major red flag I see today is skill set, right? Today, there's a lot of skill set, there's a lot of certification where in around a resume. When you pick up a technical resume, or let it be any other resume, even if it's a marketing leader resume or any resume, okay, that's common. It depends like how many skills he is really experienced or how many skills is he really certified. But today, if you see a resume, right, there are A to Z skill set on one particular resume. Where I see that as a red flag is the person will always be certified, but he will not be a master of that certification, what he has done. For example, if a person who's really had good experience in Microsoft Office, which is Word, Excel, PowerPoint, if he's a master in that, he would really be skilled. But if he's going to put AI, Power BI, and a lot of other things, right, just for a certification, just a 1 month course and a 2 months course, he is not going to add any value if he is not going to practice it, right? There's a lot of difference doing a lot of certifications and master of none. When you're master of none, it's the major red flag for a recruiter. There's no point in putting a lot of skills, right?
I mean, yesterday or day before, I have seen that a lady who is posting, these are all certificates that I have done. She displayed on a
I've seen
notice
that.
board, and she
Yeah.
said that,
Such a
I
job.
have these many certifications, but I do not have any hiring is not happening because of it. So
Yeah.
people are not looking at your degrees or something. As I rightly said, David, it is the skills that people are looking into. That is a big red flag we can say about it. So what is the value that you are bringing onto the table? And that is what any organization would love to see such kind of people into it. So that's a wonderful answer, David G. So coming to Komal's question, there are two more questions. Let's finish it off. And I would like to have my friend to speak on this thing also. We'll close it very quickly. So
Sure.
Komal said that I would like to hear about the situation quickly to hire someone with a niche skill, but still want to make sure the candidate carries the values. And I usually talk to them early during the interview on why values matter to set expectations in advance. And in my experience, some professionals really understand and support that approach. Any more tips on this? David, with your permission, I would like to respond on this particular question.
Sure. Go ahead, please.
Komal, this is one of the, this is the best way to approach for any kind of a candidate, because what is the knowledge with which you would like to empower the candidates or the job seekers to understand our company and the values, whatever that we carry. Anybody who is not fitting into that kind of a system, that kind of beliefs or any such kind of practices are not fitting into their kind of things, people would obviously get out of the recruitment process itself. So there is no question of during the recruitment, if you can say, post recruitment, we can talk about a lot, many about the, talking about the skills, values and adopting the values and all. We can have a mentor mentee, a lot of things, a lot of tools, enablements and everything is there post recruitment, post joining. But before that, this is the foremost, whatever that you are following is fantastic thing, not only for niche skills, I can say for any kind of general skills also. Right, Komal? So this is my response for the question, whatever that you have given. And there is a poll question has come on to your chat boxes, friends. Please respond to that. And Maunika, your question is there, and Madhuri at level. Maunika, before taking your question, I would like to go with Madhuri's question. So how can we handle candidate who has been rejected after multiple rounds? How can we handle a candidate who has been rejected after multiple rounds? Okay, after multiple rounds happened, so maybe at the ultimate shell or penultimate shell, the candidate has got rejected. Of course, very politely that we can communicate to the candidate, and giving feedback is always good for a candidate to keep up our employer branding in a right way. Rather they go to Glassdoor or saying something against us. So we can put it across to. There is a lot of polite ways are there, Madhuri Garu. So you can give them even. Please use your AI tools. You ask your ChatGPT, how do I answer very politely, professionally? It will answer your. It will give you a fantastic script also for you to talk to the candidates and all. So it is always knows that everybody knows that every time whenever we are making the things that if at all you got selected, if at all you got selected, so there is a room for rejection, there is a room for non-selection. That is what we are establishing in the minds of the people. We are not making the hey, you got selected in the for the next round. I'm not making it as a celebration. I say congratulations that you got selected. The next 2-3 rounds will be there. If at all you got selected, there are many things to do. So that kind of indication that we are giving so that the people will not get offended, people will not become tough to handle at that stage, basically. That is what I can say about this, Madhuri. And David Ji, if you want to add anything to that, or can we move forward from that?
Yeah, no problem. As I said, right, we can give prompt feedbacks to the candidate, and I would always give a feedback to a candidate. I would call and tell him, so why did he fail this round? And I would always tell him to follow up again, not to worry. He can always reapply again, actually. And I would always tell him if the panel feels that you are a good fit, definitely we will reach you. And where this comes, Ram, I will tell you, I'll give you a small example. For example, as they say, right, we believe on a candidate who's going to join the company. Say, for example, I have an upcoming joiner on Monday, and we believed in him. We didn't have a backup strategy. Okay. So if the candidate doesn't join on a Monday, what we do is revisit the Excel data who has got rejected in the final level of interview. We would at least have 10 good candidates or 5 good candidates. Then we would call those candidates, and then we will take the final round, and then we will backfill that role. So it saves a lot of time, actually. So this is one side of the recruitment when you have a dropout on your day one. That is the surprise which the candidate gives the HR recruiter, right? Though we bring the RT and everything, the welcome box and everything. So this is one kind of a strategy which we use. But when a candidate fails multiple rounds of interviews, right, it depends on the engagement what we have with the candidate. Because it's easy to write a review on Glassdoor or any other social media forum, because today a negative review only will spread like wildfire
Correct.
in no second. But in order to spread a positive news, that will never even reach, and they will never even like it, right? They will read the post and they will say, oh, this is the post, and they'll just pass the post. See,
Right.
unless if you encourage somebody, right? I always believe in one thing to everybody in this room: treat somebody how you like to be treated, and equalism will come automatically.
Right. Great. That's really wonderful answer, value addition, David G. So there is a some responses have come, and one more question. Okay, Komal we answered. Maunika, what if the candidate is a slow learner but with a great skills? How can you top management HR gives the right instructions to the bottom level of HRs to understand the hiring values, not just Monica, it is at the level of what Madhuri is asking about. Sorry, Monica is asking about is what if a candidate is a slow learner but with a great skills? So top management, how can a top management can instill or make the recruiters to understand what are the values, hiring for values, not just skills? I mean, with your permission, I just want to add some point to Monica.
Sure.
Monica, actually, this is a driven by the top. The values were being given by the top management itself because that is their philosophy. Management's philosophy itself, we are going to that reflects in the values. That is what we are talking about. That reflects as a culture that gets into our practice as part of it. So it from the top to down, it descends from the top to down. So that is what happens actually. So first imbibing about those things by the HRs and the recruiters is very, very important. Unless I don't understand what is the integrity as one of the values or a respect to the colleague, and unless I practice it as a recruiter, it doesn't make any sense. Suppose I'm conflicting with my hiring manager and not respecting or something else. How can I talk about respect to colleagues as a value to my job seekers? I cannot do that. So first of all, we need to imbibe and we need to practice it. And management will definitely come back on that. That's really great. So Maudhuri has given another question. Maudhuri's question was answered and Maudhuri responded very nice actually. Thank you for answering my question. Komal also said thanks for the answering the question. And Prasad Swami has said that out of box thinking is needed is an yes, exactly. Prasad Swami. I really appreciate that. Out of the box is very much important because of the rapid recruitment models that are coming into gig working, workforce that we are taking into. And there is a RPO models are there. There are permanent staffing, temporary staffing. There are campus recruitments. There are bulk hiring. A lot of things like executive, hiring, executive selection is also happening. Mid-layer people that we are taking into, right? So many things that are happening in the recruitment state, and hybrid models again, that variation is also there in that. So talent acquisition is not, it's a older version. Now it is a I think David also said that it is a new modern era, new way of doing a recruitment part. It is very much required for us to think out of the box, and definitely we need to give a lot of values. And I'm pretty sure that talent acquisition is going to grow definitely in a right way, I think. So, Lavanya, thanks for sharing all the poll questions about this. And Madhuri, yes. So, said that I also felt the companies should plan their interview strategy well. Yes, well in advance, the number of rounds and what we are going to assess. Like Google, Google has 8 rounds of interviews, and each round has a purpose. One fellow will do communication means communication only. Functional means functional only. Cultural fitment is cultural fitment only. Technical skills means technical skills only. So that way that at the end of the day, all the 8 assessment remarks will be collated and wants to see that, yes, this is going to be taken or not. So mostly the organizations are following the same way. Somewhere that people are asking repeatedly without understanding. That's where I even suggest that we have a course also, certified interview specialist. We are training the interviewers also what to ask the questions. What is the level of their understanding? What is the kind of assessment? What is the assessment means actually? And how this recruitment or how this position needs to be filled with what kind of skills or the cultural fitment and everything we are going to discuss, and we would like to offload and orient them, and then we would like to put them across into the interview table and all. So it's not that their whims and fancies, their own styles, because these people who become managers and interview table, they are coming just because of their individual form, individual style or individual growth. So they are independent contributors wise, they are good. But when it comes to the interview kind of thing, sometimes it's not your experience or something else. It needs some more extra actually you need to understand, and then only things will go with it. I think David also resonates with the same, I believe, strongly, right? So that is there. So some more question has come. Raghuram, today's topic is something different, Raghu. How do you prioritize workplace safety? Workplace safety is something different, which is really the value-based hiring, whatever we are talking right now. The topic is something different. Definitely, I would answer through our HR help desk. HR round the clock is, we have another initiative is there. David G. We have another WhatsApp group where we are 24/7. We are giving all the HR questions, whatever people are asking under the sun. Our experts team is answering about those questions. So Raghu, I'll answer. I'll take up your question in that particular thing, and I'll answer for that, right? And Shiv Kumar has asked about how can we reduce the number of rounds to only 2, just to reduce the stress on the candidates and speed up the process. Yeah, I think David G, you can answer that.
Sure. Generally, as you said, right, that's actually a right question and a right formula which every recruiter can do. So for a tech recruitment, right, it's better to have 2 technical rounds of interview, 1 managerial round, and that 1 managerial round will always be like 30 to 45 minutes. And when you wrap the 3rd round, right, you can have the HR discussion on that particular day, so that the candidate will have an in-person visit of the office and also see the HR and know the team members who is he going to work with. And the 2 rounds of interview, right, will always be an online interview if the candidate is somewhere outstation. But if he's in person, I would always advise to keep it like on the 2 levels, so it would always be interacting. And the 2 levels of interview will be an hour's interview. Okay, suppose if he's outstation, it would be a video call, or if he's in person, it's more well and good. And I think so 2 interviews are really a good formula, and it's a way of a best practice for a technical skill interview. And this comprises of the coding round and self-assessment, and a lot of things are included in these 2 rounds.
Yeah, That's really great. Thank you. And let me give you the closing remarks about this particular session right now. So further questions, anything is there, we will take it up. Thank you. So the kind of things as a facilitator, I would like to tell about this is a wonderful, meaningful, enriching conversation that we had. Right. So on behalf of the entire HR Satsang community team, I extend my heartfelt thanks or gratitude to our guest speaker today, Mr. David Netto. Not just for sharing his knowledge, but also bringing a lot of soul towards the talent acquisition. He's not talking about only the skills or requirement or something else. He's talking about the how we can bring that particular atma, the spirit into that particular things and all. That's really fantastic, David. So your insights on hiring for values and balance to fill with the culture, skills with the culture, skills as well as the culture, both the things that we need to balancing of it. And there's a consciousness in hiring. Definitely that recruitment decisions are going to help these things. And this is a wonderful, powerful reminding is the first step forward to building a great organization begins with the mindful hiring. Mindful hiring is the first step forward for the great cultures that we can build about it. So it's not just only filling the vacancies as we initially talked about it. It is a culture building actually. So I to all my HR professionals, leaders, and the learners are there today. So I would like to thank you for taking your time, your presence, and the openness that you have brought into our HR Satsang and your participation, especially on the chat box also you responded very fast. I mean, that's really nice actually. Your participation, your energy is really making this space truly special. And HR Satsang is, I mean, very happy for that particular thing. Let's carry forward the same kind of this reflection into our workplaces by pausing and asking that can they do the job, not only that particular thing, but also we need to see are they aligning to the work or are they aligning to the culture, work culture actually? That is what we need to pose the question, right? So this recording of this particular session, we recorded this and this will be available very soon on our YouTube channel. And we encourage you to share your network and continue to conversate in the YouTube. Once it got posted, you can post your comments also. Please share with your friends and other HR circle friends who are all there. Actually, please send across to them. So until we meet again in the next HR Satsang, every Wednesday 7:30 to every 15 days. Wednesday 7:30 to 8:30, there is a special topic that is going to come. So every 15 days we are conducting this. Please do participate and make this. Why we are conducting in the mid of the week is too. I know that this is a little this thing, but the conversations will be very powerful and a lot of engagement that we are taking into and committing to a certain learning about our own professions is a very much need to be prioritized, right? Thank you for listening on these things and all. So stay connected.
Ram, give me one moment. Let David be on the line, please. We have a surprise to him. Let me
finish this and then I can conclude the last sentence.
Yeah, please. Don't just tell the say bye-bye and quit. That's what I was asking. Yes, please.
Let's say bye-bye. Please, there is no bye-bye. Wait.
Please.
So stay connected, stay conscious, and continue to making HR and the spaces for a purpose, presence, and people first. Purpose, presence, and people first leadership. You try to go for that. And yes, Lavanya, please, before I say final thank you, what is the surprise you are going to do?
We would like to honor the guest speaker today with his appreciation certificate for what are all the efforts and time that he has spent to us. His certificate is being posted to this inbox directly. Of course, I'll be sharing it to you through email also. But I would like to thank you. With all our guests, I would like to thank you for this wonderful gesture, what you have given to us. So thank you so much for this. Here is your certificate of appreciation from all of us, the team of NRich HR Academy, HR Satsang, and NRich HCM Solutions is heartfully thanking you for this.
Right.
Thank you so
There's
much.
A lot of appreciations are coming from the chat boxes and all. Thank you very much, David Ji. And we will meet soon and we will have a lot of powerful such kind of sessions.
Sure.
And let's rock. Right?
Sure. Thank you so much
Thank you
to
so much.
everybody on this
Yeah.
platform, and it was so engaging. And I really like them asking questions. And this will always bring in more questions, and it's a learning together. Thank you so much for whoever spent time on a Wednesday on a working day. Thanks to everybody.